Hello and welcome. This is the PowerPoint I did at the Davies family reunion on the 14th of May 2024. And so what I'm sharing here is some information about Grandad Davies, although I can't remember him. And also, as I was looking through photos for this PowerPoint, I thought about a little thing. Where did our traditions come from? And so I thought I wanted to have a little bit of fun for it. So obviously Grandad Davies, born on 30th June, same day as Dad's birthday, just a few years in between. So I'll just whiz through these things and see how, try and remember what I said that day as well. So our name Davies, and just at the end of the bottom first paragraph, of course, it says we've got some royal connections, and that's what I really like. Let's take the best that we can out of this. And we date from the 13th and the 14th century. And our last motto, which I'm not going to say in Welsh, means that without God, without anything, God is enough. So there we go. We've got royal and we've got religious connection. So we're pretty damn lucky. So this was the last family reunion that we had. And we had some relatives over from England, I think, when we had this, or over from Wales, sorry. So when you're looking at the PowerPoint, you can stop and have a little bit of a closer look and see if you can find yourself there. And it was at Eastern Beach over in Howick area. So it's not the only family reunion that we've had. So as I was looking through photos, Mum and Dad had a family reunion in Wales. And so some of them are cousins they had never met, and some of them are cousins that had been over or came over later on. So that was a wonderful thing. Obviously, it looks like they enjoyed it. And obviously, here's Dad going to, this was at Cardiff Arms Park. So I think he's saying about the All Blacks try, or is he saying about Ronnie's try when he played a great game of league? Different name. This is rugby, but however, according to Mum, 1914. So here's our royal connection. So Aunt Menda was Nana Davies' cousin. I think I've got that right. And so Mum and Dad did go and visit her, and she came over to England here, to New Zealand here as well. And on the back of this photo, she had written, I hope the princess sees that my necklace is nice and shiny. So she'd obviously shone up her jewelry before she went to present flowers to royalty. So there's another of our royal connections. So then I found another family reunion, obviously 1982, Hyde Park, when Mum and Dad were over there, Wendy and Carlo and Tom and Pauline having a little birthday party there. So, wonderful. That's what we kind of do anyway. And then with Aunt Menda, Mum and Dad went down to visit her in Winchester and took Wendy and Carlo down. But those poor buggers, look, they just couldn't handle the pace. Look at them, absolutely exhausted, the young'uns. So Aunt Menda was a character. She painted on the plates, the gold on the plates that went down in Titanic. I've got a little bit of her gold stuff over here that I bought. She gave me to bring back, which is lovely. So then the cousins came over to New Zealand, and Betty and Daphne there, and were introduced to our lifestyle. So obviously beaching, boating, going up the Maharangi River, and according to Mum there, the tide went out. So luckily they had a bottle of sherry, and it was a good afternoon. So lovely to share those things with our cousins. So back to Grandad Davies in Blackwood, Wales, where he was born, although England, and now Wendy just said that England is, or where he was born is just over the border. So however, so there we go. It's and somewhere else it's got England on one of his certificates as well, but we always thought that it was Wales. So either or, we'll go for Welsh. So with this, now this was typed up by his brother, and we found it, I think, in the museum in Huntly, and said that his mother had said that he would never get the money to come over here. So Grandad was a bit of a card whiz, so he went, and I don't know how he did it, but we'll just go that he was a card whiz, whether it was gambling or whatever. But anyway, bit by bit, he made his fare to come over to England, and so that's a copy of his passport there, which we've got, which is wonderful to have. Selwyn, I think, sent in these photos. Selwyn Partridge over from Australia, he sent these in. Now, we think after some discussion, so this was Wilf and his mother in the middle, who came over later on. We've got another photo of her, and we think that that's Wilf down, the youngest boy there with the little bow around his neck, his family. Also another photo of him. We couldn't quite decide which was him in that photo. However, we did on the at the reunion, we had Ron wearing a similar hat. So obviously the fashion has passed down through the generations as well. And we haven't got a year of that, but that's, I suppose, in his teen years before he came over to New Zealand. So some of the things that he did, obviously involved with engineers, geological mining, and he was working for the state mines here in New Zealand. And now those two, the bits that are typed up again, were from his brother, who shared the story. So we're not quite sure what the 4 pence was for, or the 8 sacks or 8 bags of coal per year that he could get anywhere around New Zealand, but maybe that was part of his contract. And with his skills, he also founded that collieries at Glen Massey, and apparently he was a keen historian, and there was a lot of information he had that some of it was passed to the museum when he passed away. So Grandad Davies, Wilfred Charles Davies, married Harriet Mal Scalloon in 1919. Now Harriet had Auntie Gwen, Dad, and then on the birth of Eileen, she passed away, and so she is buried in Huntly, in the cemetery in Huntly. And so Eileen was then adopted out. And his mother, that we saw in that earlier photo, came over and looked after Auntie Gwen and Dad. And somewhere I read that Dad had written that she kept them all, she was quite strict and kept them all busy doing things. And I don't think he used the word bossy, but somewhere I've read something about that. So Harriet came and she was buried in Waikamete Cemetery here in Auckland, and apparently she came over with, Wendy had the name of one of her daughters when they came over from Wales. So Grandad Davies' wives, okay, so Harriet May, which was the first one, and my middle name is May, I'm named after her, and Julia, who's named as Maggie, and so she was a Partridge, so that's our connection to the Partridge family. So this is the house that I remember in Huntly, and up in the top room was Grandad's. There was a ziggy-zaggy little staircase to go up there. Up in the top was a full-size pool table, slate pool table. So as any family house that has the guys, there's all the cars, and so the last one is Uncle Johnny, apparently at the back with his hair looking very dapper. Dad sitting down, and Arthur with his other car. So those were the cars they had, and obviously outside the garage, which was, I remember that, and down underneath there was a little sort of, what do you call it, a bit like a cave, but a room underneath it, and we've got a few old things out of there years ago as well. So good memories. So Grandad Davies, and look how him and Dad are looking just about the same with their heads tilted and their smiles pretty similar, except Dad hasn't got the